This is a group known as the Amish.
Hello, my name is Jamal.
And Adriana.
I'll be interviewing Lizette, who plays an Amish person living in New York. The Amish people make up one of the biggest communities in the country. There are more than 15,000 members and the number is growing every day. The Amish are a distinctive group of people that are typically seen as outdated today. We are here to learn what it truly means to be Amish and how their spirituality affects their day-to-day lives.
Facts we already know about the Amish are that they live in rural areas, have their own dialect of German, and dress in traditional clothing. The Amish settlers of New York are Anabaptist Christians. They have created their own world separate from ours. These beliefs that they follow alter how the Amish people live in their community, how they raise their children, and even what they do for a living. The Amish have become a subculture since the 1800s. The first particular distinction we have questioned about how and what the Amish younger generations are learning. What methods do teachers use in these Amish communities? What lessons are being taught and how does it differ from urban school children?
Us Amish are simply Christians whom have a classic lifestyle, tightly connected communities, and are opposed to contemporary technology. Urban school children come from a variety of origins and are exposed to a broad range of cultural influences. The Amish society rejects formal education after the 8th grade, and everyone learns the same subjects in the same manner. We concentrate on the correctness, thoroughness, and use of the material provided to them in school. Their instruction is founded on the idea that kids should be brought up in ways that are representative of our faith and culture. We try to practice a variety of talents, including hard work, farming, cooking, and as well as cultural and religious beliefs. Many people think due to the amount of rules, a child's creativity may be hindered, but the lack of technology and outside input allows the children to grow organically and create their own opinions on subjects. Compare this to urban schools, where urban school children are past the 8th grade and where family and community relevance are not stressed whatsoever, and we find ourselves finding that a lot of our children really care about the same things that we care about.
One of the first things people wonder about the Amish is how they survive. If you didn't know, the Amish use little to no technology. They are stuck in their old-fashioned ways and there's no use of cars or cellular phones, so now we wonder why.
Us Amish would like to continue to pass on our traditions generation after generation without any changes, but this traditional lifestyle would be at risk if technology were to be involved. By bringing greater mobility, like cars, it would pull apart the community, eroding local ties. Our fear is that the use of technological devices, such as automobiles, would separate everyone. People would be able to move around. Therefore, we use buggy and horse ride to keep everyone in horse riding distance. As for cell phones, mainstream media is too big of a distraction, and it would be easy for media to get out of control. By not using any sort of technology, we control the fray.
Moving on, we should talk about the biggest advantage people have when it comes to living in an Amish community, and that is the healthy food produce. What's the reason for the food production difference between the Amish and regular people? What farming techniques differ, and how does this affect with the community?
Since there aren't many options when it comes to jobs due to the whole technology restriction, we turn to agriculture for our living and food. Unfortunately, over the years, the farmland costs have grown, making it more and more difficult for young Amish to start a family of their own. Since farming is basically the only way we can make money and food to feed ourselves, it is dire for us to have land. Due to the prices heightening in states like Pennsylvania and Ohio, a lot of us had to move to New York, far away. Besides having to move away from family to stay true to ourselves, we also must make sure everything entering our bodies are clean and untouched from the modern world. Our customary agriculture methods, which include embracing organic farming practices and avoiding processed meals to create a natural palate for ourselves. A majority of our diet consists of simple, healthy foods like fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean meats, dairy, and other fundamental foods. We receive many health advantages for sticking to this traditional Amish diet. It's a very low possibility to see a fellow Amish person suffering from obesity, heart disease, and other chronic diseases. Therefore, I'd like to say what we've been doing has worked for years now.
Due to a lack of innovation tools which makes farming easy, the Amish don't have all types of food available. The Amish do not allow for any chemicals that would be in a lot of American pantries, so now we ask what type of foods are grown, what dishes were created, and what are the dietary restrictions the Amish have.
Once again, the Amish cultivate a wide variety of vegetables. We frequently preserve these vegetables through canning, pickling, or fermentation to keep them from going bad. Old methods used from earlier times are continued to be used in our community. To be able to use it to produce bread, porridge, and other traditional dishes. We plant a lot of these whole grains, including oats, wheat, and corn. Processed foods, alcoholic beverages, and other alcohols are not consumed. This does not mean we cannot consume any sweets at all, just because we avoid manufactured sugary foods. Apples, berries, peaches, and other fruits are among the favorites of us Amish. From the fruits we cultivate and harvest, we can produce jams, jellies, and other preservatives, allowing us to enjoy the sweets.
Obviously, we know the Amish are Anabaptist Christians, which differ from regular American Christians. It's clear the way that the Amish dress and what food they consume. Now the real question is, what other rules do they follow and how deep does their faith go?
Well, it's our entire incentive. We follow a guidebook of laws called the Ordnung, which was agreed upon since well beginning of my time. Similar to your constitution, Ordnung is regularly reassessed and in some occasions completely revised. These laws are important for most part, all based on the words of the Bible. We know the Bible can be interpreted differently by everyone, but long ago a community of believers came together and decided to live in similar conditions for their entire lives. Their interpretation was close enough that they built a community where I now live in. It is our Amish's loyalty to God that drives us to continue this tradition. We believe it is this exact belief that has blessed us with close friends, close family, and an abundance of food. I'm sure people who live in modern society can clearly see the differences between themselves and us, but the differences is not just how we are dressed or how we consume things. It is also our mindsets. We are the community. We emphasize our community and how we voluntarily work together to stay true to God's word.
Besides following the Ordung, are there other traditions that Amish follow? What events do the Amish celebrate to bring people closer together, and how does it affect their beliefs?
A very well-known event that takes place every year in Amish young adults' life is called Rumspringa. Rumspringa, which is German for running around, is the name of this rite of passage Amish teenagers must complete. Rumspringa usually begins at the age of 16 and ends when the individual chooses to either be baptized in the Amish church or to leave the community. The Amish youth face fewer restrictions on their behavior and are not subject to the Ordnung. This time is given to the youth as an opportunity for them to explore modern society and decide whether that is what they want. After this period of exploration, the youth then must make a very important decision, and that is if they'll stay or leave, family or isolation, tradition or the modern world, faith or uncertainty. Years ago, there were 4 youths I used to know. These youths were Amish, and in the year 2000, they were all feeling like they were done with their time in the community. The first teenager, Danny, described his need for freedom and how it was so bad in the community that when he had the opportunity to jump out a window for his father's farmhouse, he ran as fast as he could. Danny ran away to have fun, But the next teenager I knew wanted more than parties. Lena, on the other hand, wanted her GED. The third adult who was having doubts was Nelson, who had a love for cars and technology. Lastly, Harvey set out to the modern world for a chance at freedom. Then we have a follow-up. I know now that Harvey has found love for trucking, but his love for his family overpowered everything, and it drove him back to the Amish life. Opposingly, Nelson continues his life of travel and works at a camp a long way from home. Lena, too, went on to build a family separate from the Amish community.
Amish typically marry in their early 20s. After the adolescent period, Rumspringa. Compared to non-Amish Americans, Amish marry young, typically at the age of 21 to 23. Now we wonder about the family structure. It is already known that the Amish are living similar to the old days, but is the family hierarchy the same too? What does a typical Amish American family look like?
Traditional gender roles receive a lot of attention in the Amish family hierarchy due to its hierarchical structure. The father in a traditional Amish family is regarded as the head of the household. They are responsible for protecting and sustaining his family. The mother is responsible for managing the home and raising the children. In our households, relationships and family cohesion are highly emphasized. Everyone is expected to work together in order to support one another because the family is seen as the foundation of the community. Within our society, women are not permitted to occupy any official positions of power, and our functions are largely restricted to home. Children are expected to help out within the household chores and work alongside their parents on farms or in the family business. As boys get older, they typically receive instruction in a talent or skill to prepare them for their future careers as family carriers. Girls, on the other hand, are taught domestic skills and are expected to get married and start their own families.
There have been many people who have made their own opinions on what it means to be Amish. Researchers, scholars, and non-Amish neighbors have shared these thoughts, and we'll share what we've found. Firstly, the regular people who have seen how the Amish behave may think of the Amish as old-fashioned people. Some think of them as high school dropouts. Researching observers think of them as plain people. For a long time, the Amish people were seen as fundamentalists, but the two major distinctions that are clear are 1. The Amish do not believe that they need to be reborn, and 2. The Amish do not believe in violence, and they do not wish harm on people who aren't in their community. Therefore, this description is incorrect. How would you describe yourself and your community as?
We Amish bring people together for events. We focus on their way of life, and it creates a beautiful picture of synchrony. We stay true to ourselves, and our beliefs are what drives us. These events are supposed to make the community one. It is clear how we have survived. Our Amish strict beliefs in Christianity is our sole reasoning for almost everything we do, because at the end of the day, us Amish are simply Christian.